I really didn't make my channel any favors this year. I've made plenty of videos where a lot of people got pissed off, and a significant number of people were like, no, bye, and just kind of left me in the dust, and I've burnt many bridges with many people this year, and view-wise, my channel was kind of at its worst. But you know what? Despite all of that, I consider 2020 the best year for my channel. I really do think I've improved at this video making shit this year, and honestly, making videos that I know would piss off a significant portion of my audience still felt very liberating because I felt that I wasn't restraining myself from talking about how I really feel about certain subjects. And I just kind of stopped caring because why should I care what other people think? I mean, like I've said plenty of times in the past, this is my channel and I really don't care if any opinion of mine pisses a significant portion amount of people off because again, it's my channel and I'm free to talk about whatever I want despite people agreeing with me or not. But anyways, I'm dedicating this video to every video I've made this year that I guess you can consider controversial. And I really had to force myself to say controversial because I think most people who brand themselves as controversial and use that as a badge of honor is really fucking cringe, to be honest, because it just makes someone seem like they feel like they're more of a badass than they really are. Like, ooh, yeah, I'm controversial. Watch out. My videos will make you feel so offended. Okay, come on, dude. You just make videos on the internet. Don't think of yourself so highly, okay? But that's kind of objectively what a lot of these videos are, right? Because they pissed off a lot of people, and yeah, you get the gist already. Anyways, let's dive into the video, shall we? I'm sorry about the Antifa video, an exactly equal like to dislike ratio. 10 likes, 10 dislikes. I don't really have too much to say about this one because it kind of gets into the political violence topic, and I have another video completely dedicated to political violence that I plan on including in this video, so I'll talk about it more in depth here. But Antifa. I'm completely fine with Antifa. I don't consider them a terrorist organization like so many people in this country do. Because, well, they're kind of a deterrent to fascists. That's kind of in their name. Anti-fascist. That's what Antifa stands for. And of course, Antifa isn't an actual organization with leaders and such. It is an ideology. An ideology that I myself ascribe to. Yeah, I'm anti-fascist. Any sane person would be, right? It's just that some people who ascribe to said ideology take it upon themselves and beat up fascists in their streets because they kind of don't want this country to descend into fascism, and people all around the world who consider themselves anti-fascist, take it upon themselves to beat the shit out of the fascists within their own countries, and I think they're doing a complete service to this world. It is scary how much this world is turning to the right, and any deterrent from that is welcome in my book. The coronavirus does not excuse bigotry. At first, when I watched this, I was like, remember the days of when we in America were looking at countries like China and Italy and seeing how bad those countries got, and we were like, sucks for them. Hopefully it doesn't come here, right? Right? Good times, good times. But anyways, I made this video because I noticed there was a lot of bigotry surrounding Asian people predominantly about the coronavirus or COVID. And especially because I live right outside a predominantly Asian town, and my family was so fucking scared to go there. And they're like, there's so many Asians there. What if we go there and we catch COVID ourselves? And I thought that was so stupid. And of course, I couldn't really say anything to that because I didn't want to start anything with my family. So I made this video to kind of vent my frustrations on that. And it wasn't just within my family. It was people I talked to in college. It was also people online, throwing bigotry towards Asian people's way, and it was so disgusting. And I wanted to say something about it because it was just making my blood boil so much. Here's something that I thought was common sense: just because someone is Asian does not mean they are directly responsible for COVID existing. I thought this was something that didn't need to be explained, but I guess it has to in this sad, sad, bigoted world. But yeah, and not to mention all the memes and jokes that were levied at Asian people's expense at the time. All the COVID jokes that were pretty much racist, but people use those memes as a way to kind of mask their hatred and be like, no, I'm not racist. I mean, this is just a joke, bro. Don't get so offended. Yeah, you saw plenty of that in the beginning stages of COVID. But then we got it, and we got it so bad, and we fucked it up so bad that we're now at the receiving end of the joke. Oh, how the turntables. Super Smash Brothers games suck. Boy, this one. This one costed me quite a few friendships, I'm sure. But anyways, I made this video at the time because, well, obviously I felt that the Smash Bros. Games really weren't my thing, and I even clearly said in the video, if you enjoy the Smash Brothers games, that's perfectly fine, but they're just not my thing, like, at all, and I completely respect your opinion if you do enjoy this game series, but people got bent anyway over my, quite frankly, very mild complaints of the game, but anyways, I just want to say that this video I really don't get behind anymore. I recently played Melee. It's because my cousins came over and we played some rounds together, and I thought the game was fun. I really don't know what was different this time around, but I thought it was fun. And I am interested in getting Melee for my GameCube because I've been collecting GameCube games for the past few months. And even if I don't end up enjoying Melee and I don't play it all too often, I think it is an essential addition to my collection because it's kind of sort of the most popular GameCube game ever, and one of the most critically acclaimed. So of course I need that in my collection. But anyways, I don't hate the Smash Bros. Games as much as I used to. I never really hated them anyway. I just kind of thought they weren't my thing. But then people freaked the fuck out and were like, just because you don't like the game series doesn't mean they suck. Even though there have been plenty of things that I said sucked, and they were just and my reasons for them sucking was completely based on my opinion. Remember Kiss? Remember all the YouTubers I've ranted on? I've proclaimed those things sucked, and you seem to be completely fine with that. But when I go after your precious Smash Bros. Game, that's when it's a problem. Oh, yeah. There was even a person in the comment section who wrote a pretty lengthy comment. At first, they were accusing me of clickbait, which I felt was preposterous, and I kind of sort of stopped reading their comment there and was like, boo-hoo, in response to the clickbait accusation because I felt that was just so preposterous. But I ended up reading their whole comment afterwards, and it was just pretty much a comment giving me tips on how to improve and, saying you could do these things to improve your experience and such. They're giving me suggestions, so I'm here to say sorry to that person if they're watching. I really shouldn't have responded the way I did. I'm not sorry to all the 6 people who freaked the fuck out in the replies and blowing the situation way out of proportion. Fuck them. But, to that person, yeah, I'm sorry. I really shouldn't have responded that way. But, again, I love the freak out that this video caused. It made a whole server of people melt the fuck down, and that was funny. But the shit show this video caused aside, I kind of got into developer bootlicking in this video, which I'm not really a fan of these days. I think you can have legitimate criticisms for a game, but, you can make it in good faith and not completely attack the people behind the game. I think what I was getting at here was, Sakurai has worked himself nearly to death, quite literally, and yet people are still unsatisfied and, just giving him, all this shit despite all the work he puts into these games and despite the toll it takes on his health, people still give him so much shit because he puts in a character that they don't like, that they could so easily just not play as. But, I can understand why people would complain about a game series they feel so passionate about. Some people, yeah, sure, they take it way more extreme than others, and they really shouldn't get as bent as they do, but still, I can understand why people would want to levy criticism against the Smash franchise because it is a franchise that they were passionate about. Just because it's a video game doesn't mean they can't get passionately angry when something is, to them at least, wronged. And I guess it really depends on the nature of the criticism, if it's even grounded in reality and if it's coming from a good place, because there are some people who are just ungrateful bastards and will just complain about every fucking thing in regard to this franchise. I'm really still not a fan of the fan base at all. And yes, I do admit the fan base was a pretty big part in turning me away from this franchise because they're just not pleasant, like, at all. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this video. I mean, I had quite a bit to say about it, more in regard to the drama it caused, but that was a fun time, definitely. But yeah, this video is kind of a mess, but I'm not going to delete it because, eh, I kind of like reading through the comments from time to time. iDubbbz versus Incels. Let me say right here, I have newfound respect for iDubbbz after his sex worker video. I mean, it made a huge portion of his fan base so fucking angry, but you know what? It was a portion of his fan base worth getting rid of because a lot of them are like very far right assholes, and I'd rather not have people like that in my audience. And I'm sure iDubbbz felt the same way because he made a video again defending sex workers, knowing full well a significant portion of his audience wouldn't like that because they freaked out over his girlfriend making an OnlyFans page and called him a simp because, you know, he doesn't have complete control over everything his girlfriend does, like a complete fucking maniac. But, yeah, I do really respect iDubbbz for making that video. And I made a video in defense of iDubbbz, and I got some shit for defending iDubbbz because, oh noes, I don't care that his girlfriend made an OnlyFans, and oh noes, I'm not chastising him for, again, having a complete stranglehold over everything his girlfriend does, like his girlfriend is his property, or something like that. I also target the word simp and say how it is a very harmful word that the internet has been spreading around lately, and, you know, it's basically a word that spreads, misogyny, and in the recent months, I've been seeing lefty figures kind of reappropriate the word to make it, you know, something that is not as harmful towards women, and I'm completely behind that, but it is still a word that I choose not to use because it is still very popular among reactionary circles when it comes to discriminating mostly, you know, online figures who are women. You certainly see this a lot with Twitch streamers, especially streamers like that, what's her name? Pokimane, something like that. A lot of people have very irrational hatred with her. You know, they kind of go after her for the littlest things, and I really do think it has a lot to do with the fact that she has a vagina, so yeah. I never really gave a fuck about that drama, and it really just seems like an incel circle jerk, and people really mad that that a woman can be successful online. And that seems to make these people seethe hard, and I really like that. Double thumbs up to that, but, that isn't to say that the whole Pokimane situation, all the various bouts of drama that she's been in this past year alone, that doesn't mean she's free of, like, any legitimate criticism, because I've heard some, but really, I still think a lot of the brigade against her has a lot to do with, you know, just these very lonely men angry that there is this female Twitch streamer that is wildly successful, and that makes them angry, so they feel the need to irrationally attack her. And the same goes to a lot of other women on this platform and on other platforms. I tend to see women be disproportionately the prime targets to a lot of harassment compared to men online. It's just kind of a fact. It's something that I've really observed. And it is fucked up, but back to the iDubbbz thing. Yes, iDubbbz is based. I still don't really like his content all that much because, you know, he's defended the N-word and things like that. But, you know, in regards to his position on sex work, absolutely fucking based. Discriminatory opinions, quote unquote, should never be accepted. You know, I really did think this one would be cut and dry, and people would be like, yeah, really, we shouldn't befriend homophobes or transphobes or racists or bigots of any kind, but no, this is controversial to a certain sector of my audience at the time because I guess they still view these kind of things as just opinions, you know, never mind the fact that, you know, if these kind of people had absolute power, the people that belong in the groups that these people so irrationally hate would probably be eradicated, and I'd rather not associate with people who have any hateful thought whatsoever against marginalized groups of people. Because I'm sorry, I don't like racists, I don't like transphobes, I don't like homophobes, I don't like, again, any bigot of any stride, and I really don't see how that's an irrational position to take, because I don't want to associate with these people. I don't want anything to do with that kind of fucking hatred. And I think associating with these people, just merely being friendly with them and talking to them and, you know, hanging out with them, says that you tolerate these kind of positions because obviously, you know, you can befriend someone with these awful positions and put that aside and be like, they're nice to me, regardless of them not being nice to certain marginalized groups of people. But that doesn't matter because they're nice to me personally, so I don't really care. I think that is actually a really disgusting position to have. We should absolutely shame bigots, and I really don't see why that should be something that is shunned upon. Oh, it is just their opinion. Yeah, opinions that can lead to the harm of various marginalized groups of people. I'm sorry, but I don't accept certain opinions, especially when it comes to something like that. Political violence, always wrong? Here we go. I really don't think political violence is wrong at all in certain contexts, especially when it comes to punching Nazis, or, you know, beating the shit out of fascists in general, like I mentioned earlier, Antifa. When it comes to that, I think definitely these kind of people should be curtailed. There should absolutely be something to be done about these kind of people because the spread of fascism honestly fucking scares me. Not only in this country, but in this world in general, people seem to be getting more and more cozy with far right ideas, especially when it comes to, infringing upon the rights of marginalized groups of people again, LGBTQ plus people, uh, non-white people. People have been advocating for ethno-states, and white supremacy is becoming a more palatable idea to many people in this world. It is fucking scary, and I really don't feel bad at all when these kind of people get the shit beaten out of them. And I've gotten this stupid fucking retort so many times, but it makes you no better than them if you punch them. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I'm on the same level as advocating for the eradication of certain marginalized groups of people if I were to punch a Nazi or a fascist or any person who is bigoted at all. And I don't regret this video, like, at all. I know a lot of people really don't like my position on this, but I'll keep saying it until I am blue in the face. Political violence is fine in certain contexts. Of course, when it comes to things like the Proud Boys and pro-Trump people, or just pro-far-right people in general, those are the people that tend to start shooting up places, and of course I don't condone that, like, at all, because a lot of the times they attack the very same marginalized people that they are against. Remember the Christchurch shooter? Shot up a fucking mosque. Don't condone that shit whatsoever. But people, and people who are anti-fascist punching these people, that shit is completely okay, and I really don't give a fuck what you have to say about that. By the way, Antifa's body count is a big fat 0. Hunter Avallone's political shift is cool and all, but ooh, that ellipsis makes you really want to click on the video and hear what I have to say, right? I completely go back on this video. I feel like I was a complete dumbass in this video. I fell into the purity politics trap that much of the left falls into. Gatekeeping, saying you should not be allowed within leftist circles because you used to be a reactionary, and spread these kind of harmful beliefs, even though I did the exact same fucking thing a few years ago, and yet I consider myself a lefty now. It is complete stupid gatekeeping that is so fucking childish and just so trivial. Way to completely disregard personal growth, and Hunter has shown quite a bit of that in the months since he announced he was leaving the right. Because he deleted a lot of his old reactionary content. He even made video responses to himself where he responded to his old videos, spouting out very reactionary viewpoints like his anti-trans and anti-BLM shit. And I really appreciate that. And I guess I can understand why I was weary at first, because the internet certainly does not have a shortage of grifters. I mean, look at all the fucking people who say, I left the left, now I'm part of the right, I'm pro-Trump now, and pretty much everyone who does that makes a career off of that. Dave Rubin, Annabelle, whatever the fuck her last name is, Carolyn, whatever the fuck her last name is, I can never pronounce it for the life of me. Those kind of people make careers off of that shit, and they're complete fucking grifters, but at least in Hunter's case, he seems completely genuine. And while I'm not a fan of Hunter's content, he can still skew towards the more reactionary side from time to time. He is still growing as a person, and that is just wonderful to see, especially since I used to consider him the most insufferable anti-SJW YouTuber out there. To the bootlickers condemning the protesters slash rioters, hoo boy. Oh boy, this one costed me quite a few fans, mostly because I blocked a lot of people who commented under this video. I just witnessed a lot of really disgusting shit under this video, and I just wanted that vile shit out of my fan base, because I really don't have much tolerance for people who want to spin the whole small business shit narrative, to make it. That's pretty much a distraction away from the movement that seeks to uprise against the very system that is stacked against them. Many of the people who are out there rioting are the people who are at the receiving end of systemic racism and just systemic inequality in general, And I really do think it is a very privileged and stupid thing to say when you say, I don't condone the rioters, stop burning up your cities. These people have been at the receiving end of police brutality, systemic racism, systemic inequality for so fucking long now, and when you peacefully protest over and over again, how long is it going to take before you finally do something to uprise against the system? peaceful protesting has shown not to really do much to change things. So rioting is the next logical conclusion, because how else are you gonna get your voice heard? Again, if you've peacefully protested so many fucking times, only for it to fall on deaf ears, what else are you gonna fucking do at that point? You know, and that was basically my main point in this video, you know? People tend to not really listen to the people who are at the receiving end of all of this systemic oppression, and they just tend to be like, but they're burning up their town. They can't do that. That's against the law. How do you think segregation and Jim Crow laws were dismantled? It wasn't just because of the peaceful protests and peaceful figures like Martin Luther King. It was also because of figures like Malcolm X, who advocated for rioting, and all the rioters who made the people in power scared. And then they dismantled these kind of laws in fear of what could possibly happen, because these riots were escalating and escalating and escalating, and there really didn't seem to be any end to them until these laws were finally dismantled. And of course, it wasn't enough. Obviously, there's still a lot of systemic oppression in this country, and I think that this is going to lead to another historic civil rights era in this country, and hopefully actual substantive change will happen in this country as a result of all these riots. The same exact shit was said to the rioters of the civil rights era. They're burning shit. That can't happen. They're breaking the law. They can't burn their cities down like that. And look what they ended up achieving. And I really do hope the same happens here. You know, all these people who are condemning the rioters currently, saying that they can't burn down their cities because law, will look absolutely fucking stupid after a substantive change is made in this country as a result of all the riots going on within it. I got justifiably pissed off in this video because there are so many people in this country who choose not to listen to the people who are actually at the receiving end of all this oppression, the people who are actually out there rioting, but they just choose to condemn these people and not listen to them and understand why it is they're rioting out there. I'm sure if there were more peaceful means to go about this that would lead to actual change, they would go that route, but unfortunately this country seems to not really do much unless shit is burning. So really, that's the most logical thing you can do in that instance. Empleman whines about quote-unquote cancel culture and quits Twitter. You know, I'm so sick and tired of people acting like it's such a brave and valiant stance to take a stance against cancel culture. I hate cancel culture, guys. Ooh, that's such a brave and unheard of opinion. So controversial. When, like, so many fucking people at this point have ranted about the same exact fucking thing. Oh, you hate cancel culture? Cool, that's totally an opinion I haven't heard a million fucking times, and totally not an opinion that I've heard from literally the fucking President of the United States. Everyone I've seen that has been effectively quote-unquote cancelled have been cancelled for, like, actual legitimate reasons, like they're predators, or they said something very, very fucking stupid and really fucked up, you know? Things along those lines. People who actually deserve mass scrutiny. And, you know, all these people who whine about cancel culture are basically saying, why can't we be so unfiltered? Why can't we be racist and bigoted without any sort of filter whatsoever? And why do we have to be mass scrutinized for, you know, just saying this stupid shit? You know, we should just say whatever we want, free of consequences. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you do or say stupid shit, then you're gonna get called out en masse for it. Stop being such a petulant little baby and own up to your wrongdoings already. And Empleman is just so fucking hilarious. Like that twit longer where he cries about cancel culture and how he's gonna leave Twitter because of it is just so fucking melodramatic. Like, oh, boo-hoo, I can't say whatever the fuck I want without consequences. Ah, poor baby. Flag burning, based. You know, I never really understood the controversy surrounding flag burning. Like, I don't really understand why burning a piece of fucking cloth is considered so heinous, especially within this country. We have a weird cult of personality surrounding a piece of cloth, by the way. Like, you see how flags are quote-unquote supposed to be burned. You put your hand on your head and you salute the flag as it burns. It's really weird cultish shit, and I really don't understand I understand, of course, you know, this country is rooted in just deep patriotism and the idea that we're number one, no one can top us, we're the best country in this world. It's really toxic mindsets like this that lead people to think flag burning should be a fucking crime, even though the Supreme Court has defended flag burning and say that constitutes as one's First Amendment rights to burn a flag. And yet so many people in this country are flabbergasted whenever someone wants to burn a flag for any various different set of reasons. You know, we even have the President of the United fucking States now saying that he wants to jail people for burning flags. That should be a felony. That should be at least a year in prison. Like, and you see his supporters cheering that on. You know, the people who supposedly champion the First Amendment. These people never fucking cared about the First Amendment, by the way. You know, they just care about owning the libs, and that's really their set of that's really their ideology, pretty much. You know, get behind everything Trump says, own the libs. That's just it. But, yeah, I really don't mind flag burning. Still 110% stand by this video, and I believe flag burning is it's just one's, First Amendment rights, and if you don't like it, well, then fuck you. You don't like freedom of speech and freedom of expression, then. It's just plain and simple. Vidly is trash, okay? This one is dumb, so I'm just gonna knock this one out. Vidly is a useless, stupid fucking website whose main attraction is looking like YouTube circa 2008. There is hardly any appeal aside from that. It's just a gimmick website that you go on and say, oh yeah, I remember when YouTube looked like that, and then you click off. Hardly any compelling content, hardly a community whatso-fucking-ever, and I really don't understand why one would want to waste their time on it, but there seems to be plenty of people who want to. I mean, a lot of people got really mad at me for this video. A video about a website that's just a copy and paste of how YouTube used to look. Apparently people are very passionate about that, but yeah, I still stand by this video, and the 40 plus people who got angry at me for this video and pressed the dislike button can kiss my ass. The racist reaction to Canon Hinnant's death. Oh boy, remember when Canon Hinnant's death was all the rave in right-wing circles? Why isn't the media talking about this random, unjust, has nothing to do with race whatsoever murder, but let's make this about race anyways because it's a white boy being murdered by a black man. Again, race has no factor into the motive of why this black man killed this white boy, but still, let's spin this narrative anyway and make it, and turn this into a race war thing. It's so fucking stupid. And even the mother of the child said that she didn't want this to be politicized and be used as a justification to be racist. But no, people didn't listen. People were just like, yeah, let's use the child's death as a way to push our narrative. Again, his death has absolutely nothing to fucking do with systemic racism or racism of any kind. Unlike deaths like George Floyd or Breonna Taylor. It's fucking sickening. Absolutely fucking sickening to see much of the right try to weaponize a little boy's death. Why isn't the media talking about this? Oh, I know, because it doesn't fit their narrative. Or maybe because it doesn't highlight any systemic issues like, again, deaths like George Floyd's or Breonna Taylor's, thus not making it much of a news story aside from boy gets murdered senselessly. Not really much else there aside from that. There is no huge motive behind Cannon's death. There's no systemic issues that are highlighted from Cannon's death, so it's really just a random senseless murder. I know it's really terrible to just kind of say it like this, but still, it's just a random senseless murder that doesn't really teach people anything, doesn't really highlight any issues of the system that we live under. None of that. It's just, again, a random senseless murder with nothing really to learn or gain from. So really, there's nothing much to talk about aside from that. But no, it keeps spinning oh, it's a white boy and a black man, so obviously the media is going to try to cover this up, and obviously the left isn't going to talk about this, and keep weaponizing a little boy's death, because that's totally a good look. There are no quote-unquote good cops. Oh boy, here we go. This is the big one, the holy grail. I got ratioed to hell for this one. 11 likes versus 50 dislikes. Well, I don't really have too much to say about this, surprisingly. Because I pretty much laid out my case fairly well in this video. I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. I haven't watched it since I uploaded it, and I watched it just before recording this, and I really like it. But apparently a lot of people didn't like this, and I love that, much of the comments that disagreed with me on this subject didn't really refute anything aside from saying, you're crazy, go get help, you're mental. Yeah, great counter arguments, guys, totally excellent. But anyways, yeah, there are no good cops, like, at all. The police system is just there to uphold our current broken system that is rigged against the marginalized, and of course the police are there to arrest and incarcerate the marginalized and oppress them to the best of their abilities because the system hates them and the police serve the very system that is rigged against them. And that is why I think there are no good cops. You can think there are individually good cops with good personalities and good spirit and all that shit, but they serve a system that hates the marginalized, and that is why I and so many other people say all cops are bastards. We're not talking about their personalities, we're not talking about them individually, we're talking about the fact that they serve a system that is designed to oppress. This isn't rocket science, it's not hard to understand. You can scream and jump up and down all day and say, not all cops are bad. My uncle, my brother, or any other family member of mine is a cop, and they would never do things like this. They're the nicest person in the world. Yeah, I keep trying to refute that straw man. But the fact of the matter is, that family member you love oh so much who is a cop is a bastard and a piece of shit. Sorry, not sorry. And I got some family members in the police force. I'm not afraid to say that they're pieces of shit too for serving an institution that is designed to oppress the marginalized. I don't fucking care at all, because I got the rose-colored glasses off, and I implore you to take them off as well. Nothing justifies Breonna Taylor's death. The amount of mental gymnastics I've seen surrounding Breonna Taylor's death, in desperate attempt to justify it, is just fucking astounding. I see a lot of people say, well, Breonna Taylor didn't deserve to die, but she dated a drug dealer, and drug dealing is illegal and bad, and the police were looking for her drug dealer ex-boyfriend, but she got killed in the crossfire when her current boyfriend started shooting at police who were not wearing uniform and did not even bother to identify themselves. And so her death isn't really that bad when you really think about it. Don't you conservatives supposedly hate the guilt by association mindset, you know? And you're literally doing that here. Oh, she dated a drug dealer, so her dying isn't that bad, right? But, yeah, I really don't feel like talking about this too in depth because I get more into it, obviously, in the video I'm talking about, and also because just thinking about, you know, something so cut and dry, a woman dying who really didn't need to die because the police were after her ex-boyfriend that she didn't even live with anymore, and the reason she died is because her current boyfriend started shooting at cops, but he didn't know they were cops. They could have easily been, say, home invaders or other intruders of any kind. But no, her death is still justified because he shot at the cops unknowingly, even though he didn't even know they were cops. I say it in the video, but I'll say it here again. Let's face it, the reason they're happy about this, the reason they're going through such great lengths to justify her death, is because she's a black woman. Really, that's it. They're just racist people that like seeing black people get killed. Simple as that. Anyways, with that, I'm done. So, that was fun. It was nice looking back at all the quote-unquote controversial videos I made this year, and I'm sure next year we'll have no shortage of those. Maybe I'll have even more. Who knows? But, yeah, maybe I'll make another one of these the next year. We shall see, because I did kind of enjoy making this. Apologies for this one being a little rough. I just kind of watch these videos and go completely off the cuff. I never script myself. I never script these videos, I mean, but there may have been a little bit of an uptick in ums and ohs and all that, because, I just kind of went completely off the top of my head, no pre-planning whatsoever when it comes to this video, because I just kind of wanted to give my raw thoughts on these videos and talk about how either my stances have changed since I made some of these videos, or how my stances have not changed whatsoever when it comes to most of these videos I've talked about in this video. This was just a laid-back, let's talk and reflect kind of video that I felt, you know, retakes and a bunch of audio cuts weren't very necessary for. But yeah, I'm sure this video won't win me any fans since I talked about some of my most contentious videos I've made this year. But, yeah, whatever. It's just the price I pay for choosing to talk about topics that, you know, a lot of people will disagree with me on, or at least having certain viewpoints in regard to certain topics that a lot of people would disagree with me on. But whatever, it's fun, and I definitely plan on still continuing to be controversial, I guess. Cringe. Next year. But anyways, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.